And when they tested him, they were like, "Oh yeah, he's absolutely behind where he should be developmentally."
Yes.
Fast forward a year now, a year and a half, he's doing way. I mean, he's doing
to like a special school.
He did. He went to so in PG County, the school was Winship Wheatley in our area.
Okay.
Winship Wheatley, they did an amazing job with him. His teachers and his speech therapists were great, and like I said, we also had another speech therapist outside of that. Before he even started going to the school, the speech therapist came to our home.
Okay.
Outside of the one that we took him to, but she came to the home, and they had all these little things for him to do, and of course, Parker was a home kid, and he ain't trying. It was point to everything. And they're like, you cannot give in to point. But as parents, we're like, here. What you want? You want some ice cream? He got ice cream.
You want this?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because he would go,
But it's about
communication.
For me, it's about functional communication.
Right.
Because in reality, that is communication. Pointing. 90% of communication is nonverbal. Pointing at things, bringing something to you to open it, not saying things, but gesturing and grunting and being like, And as parents, I'm not a parent, but having worked with children for so many years, as a parent, you're going to immediately be like, oh, I can intuit what he wants. He wants me to open this. He wants me to give this. And in your whole life, it makes you easy, right? But forgetting about the fact that I got to prep him for being in the world where his teacher or some stranger doesn't know what and bringing this to you means.
So I definitely want to shout out PG County school systems, because in order to get your baby technically diagnosed, you have to go through the school system. It's not the doctor. It's not anything. The teachers are going to tell you, oh, well, we can't do anything about it until you get an evaluation done. So guess what? This is what you have to do. You have to write a letter to the special ed coordinator at said school. If you ever feel like there's something wrong with your child, or you need to know that they're okay, or there's something different, yes or no, by the standard of what the school system gives.
Was Adonis already in school by the time this part happened?
No. So this is the blessing. This is how God, universe, everything comes together. My son is a part of the Children's National Medical Center network. All my children have always gone. He just so happened to see the head developmental neurologist assistant that day. His nurse practitioner wasn't available. He's seen her every day since not every day, but every appointment since he was born. This one time, he had to see the assistant. So, come to find out, this is Dr. Nathaniel Beers, who now is the director of special education for the medical side of DCPS. So, before this even happened, this is 2003. I was pregnant with Christian. So, I was scared shitless when they come to me telling me, well, can I talk to you for a second? This, that, and the third. Okay, what's going on? This is the 3-year checkup. We're talking about the milestones, what he isn't meeting, what he isn't. And so he tells me, just a second, let me bring my supervisor in. Dr. Beers comes in. Dr. Beers talks to Adonis, looks at Adonis, asks me a couple questions, and tells me, well, I don't want to alarm you, but it's possible your son has autism spectrum disorder or PDD, which is pervasive development disorder. And so I was like, huh? So we wound up going to Adelphi. They tested him at the PG County School Board site where that was at the time. Come to find out, my baby was stemming. Stemming is where he took a straight edge or anything that was flat, and he would look up and down it, a door frame, a straight line, whatever the case may be, but he made sure he connected. So it was one of those things.
Did you ever see him do that?
All the time.
Okay.
But you didn't know how he didn't
I didn't know what it was. The other thing was, he would take personal items. So you know how you line your toiletries up on your dresser, you got your powder, you got your perfume, you got your nail polish, you got this, that, and the third, whatever your thing is. So my baby would take these things, this is at 3 years old, he would take these things and he would line them up. But he would line them up, number one, according to height, but then they would be, I can't even do it, but balanced off, half on and half off the dresser. So everything was in the AT&T bars. I got I got a full cereal, okay? And hanging off the bar. That's my baby. I was like, what in the world is going on? Okay. So then one day also, everybody in the black household, we normally collect change in pennies. He took all the pennies out one day. I was mad. But when I looked to see what he had actually done, that baby had created a mosaic with the pennies in color form. So you know how you have lighter pennies, darker pennies? It was a mosaic all over this coffee table. It had a glass top and then it had an insect.
At 3?
At 3. Whatever you name that baby, regardless of whatever the diagnosis is, that baby is Adonis. Mm-hmm. That baby is strong. That baby is smart. That baby can do anything. I treat that baby the same as anyone else. And I'm kind of getting emotional about it because that's my baby. That's my everything. And I'll fight for all my kids, but that one, you got to definitely kill me because I'm going off because you can't dim that light. Right. That light is pure. That's a certain thing that, you can't touch on and you can't mess with.
But it's interesting what you just said about the pathway that you took to getting the diagnosis because being in this field for such a long period of time, not only doing psychotherapy, but working with children who have special needs, federal law states that there is a mandate to identify every child with a disability, and every state is supposed to have what's equivalent to what they call a child find office. So there's supposed to be a team of diagnostic people who identify all children between the ages of 0 through, firstborn, essentially 0 to 3 years old, when you're not in school. Mm-hmm. And that was an addendum that they added to the law because they wanted to prevent the idea that you had to wait until you got to school. Okay. Because you don't know what's different about your kid when you're just having your kid. Yes. You don't have as much experience with other parents, and so you can't fully see or understand what may be different. Pediatricians are supposed to be a first line of defense. Nurses, if they're at a daycare center, they're also supposed to be required to do that. Here in DC, early stages is the Child Find Center.
We also in the black community have that stigmatism behind. I don't want my baby to be labeled. I don't want just because I don't want my baby. The ADD and ADHD just because he's in that. I don't want him to
be ADHD, and that was a struggle I had with. He's 13. I just got him an IEP, but that was my struggle with making him feel bad of being put in separate classrooms and those type of things. But times have gotten so much better, and I just had to look at it as a parent, like, I'm not helping him, I'm hurting him. Like, he thinks he's helping, I'm helping him, but I'm hurting him. So I need to put him in somewhere he can be helped. And he just got approved this summer, and I swear things have been looking so much better from what I've been going through for 13 years. It's been a struggle.
I am so glad that we were able to hit on this today, y'all. Yes. This is such an important subject for everyone, but specifically for us in the black community. This is a very, very important subject, and I'm so glad that we were able to touch on this today, guys.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing.
Amazing. April, that's our month.
Exactly. Autism Awareness Month. Exactly.
All day. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Yeah, sharing a story and a testimony.
Yeah. But also, just a quick sidebar. My baby, he sings to Renita, so it's very shapely, and we all know she's the brick house. Yeah. But my baby came in and saw Renita one day, and the song that came to mind for him was, he had a little sugar bear on her. He said, "That big old." I'm sorry, that's my little anecdote for when something is nice, you have to compliment.
But wait a minute, is that not an affirmation of how realistic it is? I got special needs, and I can still see a fat old ass.
I'm still a real boy.
Hey, all around.